The Bermuda Triangle. The beginning of any great mystery is the moment when the world comes face to face with the unknown. In the case of the Bermuda Triangle, the story did not begin suddenly, with an explosion or a catastrophe, but as a whisper, light, barely perceptible tremors of unease rising over the ocean. The Bermuda Triangle is the unofficial name of a region of the Atlantic Ocean forming an imaginary triangle between Miami, Bermuda, and the island of Puerto Rico. It was in this area that ships and aircraft began to vanish, without explanation, without distress signals, sometimes without a single trace of wreckage. It seemed as though the ocean itself was tearing them out of existence. But how did this zone earn its reputation, and who created it? The first idea of a mysterious area appeared in the press in the mid-20th century. In 1950, writer and journalist Edward Van Winkle Jones published a short note in the Miami Herald about strange disappearances in the Atlantic. He didn't invent the events but gathered data from newspaper archives, Coast Guard reports, and eyewitness accounts. It was then that the phrase, Bermuda Triangle, first echoed. Interest in the topic grew. In 1962, Fate magazine published an article by Vincent Gaddis titled, The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. Gaddis transformed scattered incidents into a mythology, describing the disappearance of the USS Cyclops, the loss of Flight 19, and other mysterious events. His account was not a dry report but a narrative that built tension, frightened, and fascinated. Soon, a wave of public interest surged. Books, documentaries, television shows appeared. In 1974, Charles Berlitz published the bestseller The Bermuda Triangle, delving deeper into ideas of anomalies, unknown forces, alien intervention, and portals to other worlds. His book cemented the image of the Bermuda Triangle in popular culture as a place where the laws of nature break down. But is it true? Many of the stories in these books were exaggerated or based on incomplete facts. For instance, some ships thought to have vanished had actually returned or were lost far outside the triangle. Still, the idea of a mysterious spot in the ocean endured. Perhaps this is partly due to the nature of the ocean itself. The Atlantic near Bermuda has deep trenches, strong currents, and sudden weather changes. Since ancient times, sailors considered this region restless. Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century avoided parts of the Caribbean, believing them cursed, while pirates spread such rumors to frighten their rivals. Folklore of the Bahamas spoke of sea eyes dragging ships to the bottom, perhaps inspired by whirlpools in the area. Even before GPS, compasses here often malfunctioned, giving false readings, creating disorientation and fear. This blend of real natural features and fantastic speculation turned the Bermuda Triangle into a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of the unknown, a crack in reality, a place where the border between our world and something else blurs. The legend has endured because it speaks to a deeper fear, the fear of vanishing without a trace, erased from memory like a drop in the ocean. The USS Cyclops, the first mass disappearance. In 1918, when the world was still reeling from World War I, the U.S. Navy lost not just a ship but a ghost vessel that became one of the greatest maritime mysteries of the 20th century, the USS Cyclops. This was a colossus over 550 feet long, a cargo ship carrying manganese ore for steel production. On board were over 300 people, crew, officers, including Captain George Worley, a strict and mysterious man of German origin, causing tension in wartime America. The ship's last voyage began in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, bound for Baltimore, its route crossing the northern Atlantic through what would become the Bermuda Triangle. Then, vanishing. No distress signal, no wreckage, no reports of bad weather. The U.S. Navy launched an immediate search, scouring surrounding waters, but found nothing. Theories emerged, a massive explosion, but no debris, a German submarine attack, records disprove this, unstable cargo shifting in a storm, but why so sudden? Mid-20th century analyses in the triangle's context suggested geomagnetic anomalies, compass deviations possibly leading to collisions or engine failures. Others proposed methane hydrate eruptions reducing water density, swallowing ships whole. Some looked to the supernatural, portals, alien abductions, a chosen victim. Captain Worley's character became part of the mystery, rumors of German collusion, mental instability, even suicide plots. His ship's fate was echoed when sister ships Proteus and Nereus later vanished under similar circumstances. For the families of the 300, there was only silence. A silence that birthed the legend of the Cyclops. Flight 19, The Vanishing Squadron. December 1945, World War II had just ended, but Florida's skies were still filled with military activity. From Fort Lauderdale Air Base, 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, Flight 19, set off on a routine training mission. The weather was good, the sea calm. Instructor Lieutenant Charles Taylor, a veteran with over 2,000 flight hours, led the group east to Hens and Chickens Shoals, then north, then back. At 3:40 p.m., the control center received a strange transmission. We are not sure of our position. We cannot see land. Everything looks strange. Even the ocean doesn't look like the ocean. Taylor was disoriented, alternately believing they were over the Florida Keys or the Gulf of Mexico. His compass had failed. He kept changing course in search of the coastline but saw only endless water. At 6:20 p.m., contact was lost. One of the rescue planes sent, a PBM Mariner, also disappeared without a trace. Despite massive search efforts covering over 200,000 square kilometers, no debris, bodies, or equipment were ever found. Official theories ranged from navigation error to magnetic interference to fuel exhaustion, but none explained the total lack of evidence. Mystical theories, portals, time anomalies, alien abduction, flourished. Flight 19 entered pop culture as a symbol of the unknown, immortalized in films, books, and games. After the Cyclops and Flight 19, the Bermuda Triangle ceased to be a rumor. It became a global myth. Disappearances multiplied, including that of the Old Marshall, a Douglas C-54 Skymaster cargo plane that vanished in December 1947 en route from the Azores to Miami with 37 people aboard, military personnel, mechanics, and civilian engineers. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. This was the first part of the full story.